Who told you this, by the way?
Unafraid Show, right or wrong. Thank you guys for joining us today. Oh, your thing did not go. Huh. Thank you guys for joining us today. George Reister here, Denisha Danielle. She just so happens to be the wife. So you have the wife versus the expert. I'm the expert of all things there is in life, and she's the wife.
Undersell, over deliver, babe.
No, I deliver on a daily basis on Unafraid Show. So there is no under deliver here. So, and the thing that we want to talk about today was sexual harassment. So sexual harassment has been a topic around the world, around the United States this year and the end of last year. MeToo, people wearing all black to the Golden Globes.
Oh, I didn't even realize I'm wearing black today. I'm representing.
Oh, okay. And so that has brought in a lot of stuff to question. What's real? What's fake? What's the protocol on this? And the reason why this came up even recently is because Sports Illustrated, they did an article on an investigative report on Mark Cuban's team, the Dallas Mavericks. It was supposedly Animal House going on in there. You guys please make sure you swipe up, share the feed, tell them about Unafraid Show. And the thing that got me is this. So what was going on is that there was this guy named, what's his name? Turdema
Ussie.
Yeah, Turdema Ussie, the CEO of the Mavericks. And supposedly like he's this big creep. Not just like, not Jerry Richardson, old man creepy from the Carolina Panthers, but this dude is openly propositioning people for sex. I mean, just
he was telling people he's going to leave his wife.
Yeah, rubbing on people's thighs,
yeah,
and calves in meetings.
Well, there's allegations of it, right?
Okay, yeah. So, and I'll tell you this, just to start, I want to start here, is men have been behaving badly for hundreds of years, and it had been tolerated out in the community. And now there's a reckoning that is happening. But there has to be some sort of ground rule surrounding this. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you this, I did not believe that it was as bad as it is, or the stuff that we're hearing. Like, I thought that these were the tales of like fictional things.
Why would you think that?
I did not think that men really like openly watched porn on their computers in front of women at work
all the time. Men jack off on buses.
I didn't think that men like sat in their offices and be like, hey yo, Karen, can you come in? And then come in, he's out there beating his meat. Like, come on, man. Like, I promise you, I did not.
You don't know in your vast selection of men that you have worked with in the football arena and all of the locker room talk, you don't know any guys that are like bona fide creeps.
Okay. See that's what brought up into question about this Sports Illustrated article is that the women in the article who talked about Turdema Ussie, is that they said they felt safe in the locker room. That's where they felt safe at, was in the locker room, that the players...
But not in the office.
Yeah, but it was the office. So I find that absolutely like comical that athletes get painted in this way. But it's actually the normal...
Well, that's in that one situation. But there are creeps all over the place. There's creeps in offices. There's creeps in locker rooms. If there's men, there are creepy men.
Okay, so I found it hard to believe at first. I was like the outlandish behavior.
You thought women were lying?
No, I just didn't know that this stuff went on on this level. I did not believe it. I could not believe it. And true, there are women creeps who prey on men. As well.
They use their power.
Yeah.
To flirt but I think it's also a little bit learned. You know what I mean? Like this was kind of
accepted behavior.
Yeah, and when I started in commercial real estate, it's a male dominated field, a white male dominated field. When I was in that boiler room office, that's exactly what it was. Straight up locker room, fraternity, boiler room. Every racial comment you could hear, every sexual comment you could hear. I can't tell you, the things that were said to me were outrageous. But this was kind of, if you're working in a male-dominated environment, it was thought like, oh, boys will be boys.
Okay.
Did I check them on it? Absolutely. But was anything done? Never.
So that's the question: is how much of this, whether it's in the locker rooms, if you're working in sports, you're working in commercial real estate where it's man-dominated world, how much of this should be expected by a woman?
Zero. The problem is that boys will be boys thing has to change. Yeah, boys, we have to expect better of our boys. Our boys, and we talked about this. Who were we talking about? We were talking about Black China.
Okay.
We were talking about Black China. I didn't watch the video. He tells me about the video, and I'm like, wow, I get it. This girl is doing these sex videos. She should not be doing these sex videos. But when did our men stop being our protectors? Like, when did that stop? And all of a sudden, they are like our attackers. Like, they are the people that we should be afraid of. They are the people that sexually harass us and come in. Should we be afraid of going into an office? Like, what is he going to do? Okay, but... Or if she is having an intimate moment with this guy, that he's going to do this crazy thing and release this video because boys will be boys.
Yeah, but all right, but there's an element of, okay, so we have sons and daughters, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you've noticed that the boys act differently than the girls do. Like, the boys are a little more rambunctious and all of this stuff. So, what element of that is actually like that? Because when I hear men talking about this when women aren't around, the stuff that is said is, all right, we don't feel like we can be us now. Like, we don't feel like that, there's certain things you just don't say around women. And there's certain things that you just...
So men are fighting for the right to be creepy because they feel like I'm naturally a creep. I really want to be myself, be a creep, and say outrageous and vulgar things to women because that's who I am. No. Not just that. Okay, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. We just saw Girls Trip or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And that enlightened me because you were like, "This is real about how women are in terms of that they're a little bit joking, dirty." Yeah. Okay, that's what men are doing. No. Hold up. That is not the same.
Hold up. I'm not talking about the stuff like this dude Uzi was doing. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about like. There's a level of it that is just like normal between women and women and between men and men. Mm-hmm. But when you cross over into getting it into other...
Well, none of that stuff should enter the workplace. That's Girls Trip. We're going on a vacation. We're hanging out with our friends. We're not harassing anybody. Nobody's job is affected. Nobody's going to work and being affected by us acting a little rambunctious. This is the problem. This is the workplace.
Okay, but
it's also the mindset. Yeah, but
this is an NBA.
And there's a difference between saying like, "Ooh, girl, go get yours," and saying like, "That's a nasty bitch." That's different.
Okay, so that's
different.
Do you believe
that distinction?
No, I do.
Okay.
Okay, but there's an element of this that people feel like that this pushes women out of sports. Like that it pushes women out of sports.
Yes, because it's not a welcoming environment.
Okay, but at the same time, it is sports. There's a lot of testosterone and all that stuff, and you would think that it might happen in a locker room.
That means nothing.
Hold on, but this is going on in the front offices, which is like, and that brings me to the next question.
But it's not a sports problem. This is not a sports problem. This is a man problem. This happens in real estate. This happens in every office around the country. This is not just a sports problem.
Okay, so we'll talk about what is allowed and what is not in a minute. Okay. And here is one of the quotes from the Sports Illustrated article that I found interesting. So they conducted dozens of interviews over the course of months to paint a picture of a culture rife with misogyny, predatory sexual behavior, and alleged fondling by the team president, outright domestic assault by a high-profile member of the Mavs organization, and unsupportive, like intimidation, all of this stuff. And here's what a senior staffer said. I dealt with players all the time. I had hundreds of interactions with players and never once had an issue. They always knew how to treat people. Then I'd go to the office, and it was a zoo. This complete shit show. My anxiety would go down dealing with players, and then I would and then it would go up when I got to my desk. And this is Terdema Usuri. And mind you, this is a Princeton graduate, sat on the board of trustees, Berkeley Law, worked at Nike, Under Armour,
and
Dallas
Under Armour
Mavericks.
Fired him pretty quick. But here's the thing. This is what I'm telling you. This is not a sports problem. This is not an inner city problem. This is a man problem.
Okay, but how about the question of, which is that I've said, is that you bring up the potential for, like, when people just get fired as soon as somebody makes an allegation, you bring up the potential for false allegations, and that people, that women, or in particular, because because it happens more to them, that women sometimes can use.
So they're making it up.
No, I'm saying they could, and I believe that there are some women who make stuff up.
Any allegation.
Yeah,
you could make up any allegation.
But now at the point in time where people get fired, if one person says something, if
it's true, should they get fired?
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
But then that brings into question timeline, like how long ago?
Why? Why does that matter? There's a statute of limitations?
No, because, here's the thing. Because sexual harassment, however creepy and all of this stuff is, it is not a crime. It is hold on. It is not a crime. Like, it is wrong. It is dirty. It should not be happening. But I'm saying it to say this, is that it's not a crime. So how long before, what was his name? Ternan Usi.
You keep messing.
Termata Usi. But man, he's got a creep.
Every
so
time
his name,
you said his name is another name.
Whatever.
Terdema or Terdema?
Yeah, Usi.
Is it Usuri? Because you've got an R in there.
Okay, then it's Usuri. Okay, Terdema Usuri.
Okay.
So how long before he should work again? And
whoever will hire him.
Hold on. And what steps does he have to complete to work again? Because the way things are happening now is that you get ostracized and kicked out of society when these allegations come out about you. So at what point in time?
They're not allegations. They're not just allegations.
They are allegations until
this is documented behavior.
Yeah, no.
By
I believe that it's
over
true.
A long period of time at multiple companies.
I believe that it's true.
Okay, so then maybe he doesn't need to be working around people. Maybe he doesn't know how to handle himself accordingly around women. Maybe. I'm just saying. So what I'm saying is,
so we just throw people out of the GDP completely. Like you are persona non grata.
I think there was another person. There was another guy who had like a domestic violence. Had 2 incidences of domestic violences.
Yeah.
What's his name? The guy from the beat writer.
Oh, I forgot
Mavericks.
his name. Dang it, I forgot his name.
Anyway, he had 2 domestic violence situations. The way he said it, he's like, I sought counseling. I went to like an extended period of counseling, which I honestly think that sensitivity training and that counseling is kind of the only answer, because the perspective needs to be changed. Women are not your toys, your like punching bags for your little nasty jokes and the thoughts that run across your head. Men are supposed to be in control of themselves, especially grown men.
I agree that,
and they need to actually be women's protectors in a way. Not that we can't protect ourselves. Let me be clear about that. But if you're taking an approach of, I'm here to protect this woman, I'm here to take care of her, in terms of other people attacking her, then maybe we won't have to worry about whether or not that person would attack them. That's my personal opinion. Okay,
but you still didn't answer the question. Being that it's not a crime, like you don't go to jail for sexual harassment, but you are.
Gambling's not a crime. People go to lose their jobs for gambling all the time. Drug addiction is not a crime. It's not a crime, but you lose your job for it.
No, but you actually are doing something illegal. If you're
what if you're addicted to pills that were prescribed to you? You're not doing anything illegal. Being an alcoholic is not illegal, but you get fired for it all the time. Because you're a danger to everybody around you. You're not as productive. You're damaging the work environment.
Okay, I 100% agree with that.
Okay, good.
I 100% agree with that. But my question is, when can he work again, and what steps should be required for these people to work again?
For anybody who's being a douchebag. If you're being a douchebag and you get fired for just basically not being a personality that we want in our offices, what should anybody do?
I mean, see, but it's different when it comes out publicly, because
why?
because you become persona non grata, like you become untouchable, unlike somebody else in a normal workforce. Like if you are an executive in a normal company, like not a Fortune 500 company, and you get fired for sexual harassment or doing whatever, and it's not public information, people are going to come out. I mean, like, nobody's going to come out and boycott the company and all that stuff when you get hired somewhere else. So the question is for people who've been embarrassed publicly for their own behavior, for stuff they did, would you be okay hiring somebody at your company after they went through sensitivity training or counseling or whatever else?
Possibly, but if I had another candidate that does not have this track record and is equally qualified, I'd probably go with that candidate. Why would I endanger my money and my work environment and all of my other employees? Why would I do that? Makes no sense. He did this. This is his problem. But I have a question for you.
Okay.
You've been in locker rooms.
Yep.
You and I have had some discussions where I kind of think some of the attitudes and the things that you say are a little chauvinistic sometimes.
Okay.
So now that this MeToo thing has come out.
Okay.
And you have seen, like, okay, maybe at first you didn't believe that it was as bad as it is. But now clearly it's as bad as you think it is. And it's all guys, all races, all industries. Do you look back on maybe like when you were younger and you're like, oh man, that was sexual harassment? Like, do you have in your mind, like, I possibly did this myself?
Okay. Okay. And before that, so Koosh.
No, answer my question, and then we can get to his question. How you gonna answer somebody else's question?
Okay. So first of all, and I know this probably is the mansplain answer or the man answer just for most civil human beings. I've never done any of this stuff. Like, I've never done this stuff. I didn't even believe that people actually did this stuff on a regular basis. Like, I thought it was like creepy.
Touched a girl's butt, just like as a joke.
Yes. Hold up. When I was in high school, we used to, there was this thing called hitting licks.
What? I'm scared.
Hitting licks. So the guys used to be like, so it was called hitting licks, and you would count how many licks that you hit that day, and that was going around grabbing girls' butts. Like, not grabbing it, but just
then I am married to a creep. Denisha, no, that's a creep. Do you understand that that's a creep?
Denisha, I did that for like 1 year, and then one school. I was in like middle school, and then I was like, yeah, this is a bad idea.
After a year,
this is what was done.
Okay, so do you look back? This is my question. Do you look back and say, I was a creep, or do you say, oh, that's just what was done?
No, I say that what we did was wrong. I'm sorry, what I did was wrong, and what they did was wrong. However, is I'm saying, I was like,
so you cannot
I was like 14 years old.
But you cannot say, I'm sorry, but.
There is no but. I'm saying it was wrong.
What I did was wrong. However, that's not an acknowledgement. That's not a true acknowledgement.
Denisha, I'm saying that what I did was wrong. However, I was 14 years old, and since then,
there's no however.
I'm saying since then.
First of all, Damon is 12 years old.
Yes, and I'd be upset.
If he's running around hitting licks, what do you think I'm going to do?
I'm going to be pissed off.
You're smiling. I'm not smiling.
I'm saying I'm going to be pissed off, and he's going to.
We're about to be in an argument.
I'm just saying to you, like I would be upset if Damon was doing the same thing.
You don't look upset.
Just because I'm telling you I'm upset.
That's disgusting.
What
if somebody was running around hitting Devin on the butt?
Denisha, I agree with you.
Talking about they hitting licks.
I agree with you. What are you
then
talking about?
why are you smiling?
Because you know that's my defense mechanism. I laugh. So.
Oh my gosh.
So look, oh my God, you made me lose my whole train of thought. Oh, so I have not done these sorts of things. Like most
you
men.
have. You have.
I'm talking about since I was 14 years old, Niche. And so aside and the things that I have done. So the things that I have done, I do not in my mind believe that they were sexual harassment. I believe that the things that I did.
Well, that's another one of your defense mechanisms, honey.
Hold on.
Is that what I did wasn't that bad?
No, I'm saying that here's a very real moment for you. I believe that the things that I did, that they weren't sexual harassment, that they were the things that I did. I can't speak for anybody else. I'm talking about George Reister. That they were because or a result of women allowing behavior that they shouldn't have allowed by me because
now not only are you mansplaining, but you're victim blaming.
No.
That because I hit her licks.
No.
And she allowed
Denisha,
it.
let me explain to you the stuff I did.
This is why it happened. She allowed it.
No.
Yes, that's what you did.
No, I'm saying, okay, I'm not talking about all this creepy stuff that they did. I'm talking about the stuff that I did. So
you're the creepy stuff that I did. I'm saying that women allowed it.
No,
we still have a ways to go with
what
this.
I'm talking about is the things that I would do would like if I just like I don't know, like I didn't.
So let me ask you a question.
I didn't do creepy stuff to women. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, you did. If you ran around hitting butts, yes, you did. So here's my question, and that's basic. Like okay. I know because I know you and I love you and I know you from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. I know you have done more than just that.
No, I haven't, Denisha. No,
but this is my point.
Wait, hold up. I was a guy. Okay, so I was with a lot of women at one point in time in my life. Okay, this is a fact, but I didn't like sit up there and like sexually harass them or like.
George, you sexually harass me on.
You're my wife. I do it to you on purpose. I'm allowed to do that to you.
No,
yes, I am.
No, you're not.
I cannot sexually harass you.
If it's not welcome, you cannot.
Listen, you cannot sexually harass the willing. Like.
What if but maybe
you come by and grab my butt sometimes, and you think that it's okay. Yes, I do. Exactly. So if I do it to you with sexual harassment, see, that's not cool.
Okay, you're right. That might be a little sexual harassment. However, here's my point. Do you know what sexual harassment, a good measure of whether or not you're sexually harassing somebody is?
Okay, tell me.
If you would say it in front of your wife, your mother, and a woman that you highly respect. If you would do it or say it in front of your wife, your mother, and a woman you highly respect, that's sexual harassment. If you would not say it and you're doing something like that. So if you're out there making a little joke about some girl's blouse or like, ooh, I like your new shirt, but you wouldn't say that in front of me, then you kind of know where your intent is. Okay, but
I'm glad that you brought that up because that's where men are saying now, I'm afraid to even talk to women at work. I'm afraid because I don't want these allegations or claims against me because there are
first of all, as far as you're concerned, don't talk to any woman.
Oh wow! All right, so look,
you don't need to have women friends
because there's an element of it, right? That is that there are just like there are some people who are too militant, right? Mm-hmm. Like there are some people who are who everything's racism and it's not, right? So would you agree that on the spectrum that there are some women who are like, listen, women are overblowing this, and then there are women on the spectrum that are like, oh my God, everything's sexual harassment, but most people live in the middle. So I'm saying is that men feel like that they are in a catch-22 because if there's a woman that I know at work and I say, oh, Niche, I love what you did with your hair. Love your new hair color. You look great.
Would you say that in front of your wife and
your
mother?
Yep.
Okay, so go ahead. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
How about if I go, nice jeans?
Would you say it in front of your wife? and not think I'm going to be like, really?
Depends on who I said it to.
Exactly. That's the point. This is the point. Like, if you're saying nice jeans, like she got some new jeans and you genuinely like her jeans, and you would say that just because you would say that. Now, don't think that this is where I think men also get it confused.
Mary, we'll get to you.
Is that they think that, no, I genuinely think she has a nice body. I'm really genuinely giving her a compliment.
And women like compliments.
Right. But if you know in your mind that you got a little woo-woo about her body, don't say that.
Okay.
This is my point. Don't say that.
Okay, so
if you get a little zing from whatever it is that you're looking at, don't talk about it, don't speak about it, especially in the workplace.
Okay, and being that men are visual creatures, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about the married man who's doing something that he's not supposed to be doing. I'm talking about single man. He's out in the world. So women flirt, right? How much of it is like, could be considered sexual harassment if a man is trying to flirt with a woman?
It depends on how his flirting goes, and if he's gonna flirt with somebody in the workplace. Everybody ain't as smooth as everybody. Everybody ain't just. But if he's gonna flirt with somebody in the workplace, he's gonna have to be like 10 times. First of all, a lot of workplaces have like bans against people dating in the workplace. That's a fact. So you have many reasons to be careful about flirting with somebody that you work with. Period.
Okay, so all this started today, this whole conversation, because Terdema Usuri, who used to be the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, found out he was a creep, sexually harassing women, touching them, all of this stuff. And one of the things that I talk about is that when you have all these claims, right? Mm-hmm. When you have like 5, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 claims against you, mm-hmm. Where other people are saying, oh, well, listen, due process, guilty until innocent until proven guilty, all that stuff. There are so many claims where you're just like, listen, man, this is just a pattern of behavior.
Right.
But when you have one claim against somebody else, here's my question, is that since creepy people do creepy things, right? Mm-hmm. Does one person only sexually harass one person? Like if a guy works at a company, some lady that he fired says that he sexually harassed her, but nobody else in the company is like, this dude's not a sexual harasser. Should we believe him or
her? We should have evidence. There's
not going to be a whole lot of evidence.
There is.
Okay, but if there's not any evidence and she's just like, yo, he said X, Y, and Z to me.
I wouldn't say
there are no emails to
her. I wouldn't say I don't believe her. I would say I believe her and I believe him, but I don't have evidence going either way.
So should he be fired?
I don't think he should. I mean, depending on the like allegations, it would have to be investigated one way or another.
No, I'm not talking about sexual assault. I'm talking about sexual harassment where like she's like, he said these things to me, but then mm-hmm. everybody else in the company is like, no, like we've never experienced this.
Well, then he probably wouldn't be fired, but there would probably be some steps moving forward to keep them separated.
Yeah, exactly. But he's got to deal with
so that she's protected, and he's got
to deal with some sort of repercussions because somebody made something up.
George, I don't understand. Like, if somebody that usually where there's smoke, there's fire.
I would agree with that. But
so is there a forest fire? I don't know.
But there's a difference between one person saying it and multiple people saying it because creepy people.
So you're saying you have to be a creep to multiple people in order to be fired. That's your stance.
Yes. I'm saying that is like a child molester or like a rapist or something. Like, you don't rape one person. You don't child molest
but
one
if you
person.
rape one person, you can go to jail for that.
Correct.
You still raped somebody. And if you molested one child, we have ways to go.
No, I'm saying I agree with that.
Let's see what they're saying.
Okay, check yours. I'll get to these questions. Okay. So, comment came in about so Harvey Weinstein, should he be able to work around women ever again, and will any woman ever want to work with him again?
I think he's gone above and beyond. He's too far.
Yeah, I would agree. He's too far. He's gonna have to work as a consultant or something. You know, somebody
or just use the money he's got coming in, because that's what it's gonna be.
But that's the question. I mean, like, should you never be able to work again? You just throw people out of the GDP. Another question came in. Oh, one person, Mary said she wouldn't call certain things that I talked about earlier sexual harassment. She would call it disrespect to the woman and your wife. So where's the line between sexual harassment and disrespect?
Well, sexual harassment is always disrespect.
Okay.
But disrespect is not always sexual harassment.
There we go. Okay, so
However,
what is the line?
Like I said, if there's a little zing, and y'all know the zing, we know the zing. If there's a little zing associated with it, and it's something that you wouldn't do because of that in front of your wife or whoever, then you shouldn't do it. That's probably borderline sexual harassment.
Okay,
You're probably in sexual harassment. So that's my opinion.
So with Mark Cuban, do you believe Mark Cuban knew what was going on?
I think his response has been pretty on point, with it. I don't think so. And they also said nothing's been said about Mark Cuban. And Mark Cuban is such a high profile guy that I'm sure somebody would have said something.
Okay.
Unless they were paid off or something.
So somebody said, dude, there's no escaping this. Say you were young and foolish and you regret how stupid and ignorant you used to be, and leave it at that. So at what point in time?
That to me is accountability.
Okay. So at what point in time is there like a statute of limitations on almost on like the public, like on you getting fired and all that stuff? So like, let's say I used to be a creep, right? Because we
don't have to say it. You proved it yourself.
So that this was socially accepted behavior, right? That sexual harassment was socially accepted behavior,
right? So,
and I was doing that for 10 years. I'm sorry, I was doing that. And then 5 years ago, I stopped. I went to sensitivity training. I was like, this is completely wrong. I don't know why. What I was taught was completely wrong.
That is accountability. That's not what you said.
No. Hold on. So what I was taught was completely wrong. And now I do something different. And now the whole MeToo movement has come out. And somebody says, well, George did this or Chuck did this to me 10 years ago, blah, blah, blah. And then I come out and be like, yeah, I did do it. But I realized the error in my ways.
And there have been examples of that.
Should I still be fired from my job being that I changed?
I would say that there have been several examples in this Me Too, thing that we're in, where a lot of men have come out and said, you know what, wait a minute, I did this. I absolutely did this, and I see things differently now. And they actually got out in front of it. And I don't think any of those people were fired. I think it's the people that put the buts and the accepts and the howevers that people look at and they're like, you don't get it. You don't understand that what you did was so wrong because you have a little asterisk about why it's not so wrong.
Okay. And Kush said, George, would you teach your kids to act correctly to prevent them from being fired from a future job, or would you emphasize it to them so they know that their behavior can affect women and to be decent men? Absolutely. I teach the boys now that you are supposed to respect people in general, like regardless of what you believe they should be doing, regardless of their sexual preference, regardless of whether women, men, whatever it is, you have to treat people with a certain level of respect, just in general. And as a man, your job is to honor yourself as it relates to God, honor your beliefs, honor all these things. And if you do all those things, then guess what? You won't be the victim. I'm sorry. Well, you won't be the attacker or whatever in a sexual harassment case. Like, that won't be you if you do the right things.
Right. And you also don't stand by while it's done to other people. That's the other thing. A lot of men stand by. They're like, that's none of my business. But this is what I'm saying. Like, if you take the approach of, I am actually, if I'm charged with anything as it relates to a woman, if I'm charged with anything, I am charged to protect that woman.
Okay. All right. But let's take it back to sports for just a second.
If she's doing something that's a little scummy, if somebody's doing scummy to her, I'm charged to protect her, whether or not I'm the scumbag or not.
What about the people?
That's what I would teach our sons.
What about the people that say, oh, okay, how about you, Miss INDEPENDENT? Do you know what that means? Like, like the Miss Independent. I don't need no man. I take care of myself. Blah blah blah. So why? So
and I am a woman. Who's very
hold up. So how about the men that say, oh, wait, hold up, you're all independent. Why do I need to take care of you? You can take care of yourself, right? It's your body. You control this. No slut shaming. No this. No that. Like,
well, you already know how.
How about you take care of yourself? How about the men who say that? I'm not a man who says that, but how about the men who say that?
I can only speak for myself. I'm an independent woman. I have always taken care of myself. I've taken care of myself since I was 16 years old. I can definitely stand up for myself. That's not a problem. But I don't have a problem with any man stepping in and standing up for me as well. That doesn't diminish my power in any way. I'm like, thank you. Appreciate it. One less time I have to go up and fight for myself. I appreciate that. What woman is going to be upset about that? I don't know. I'm not one of those women. So men out there, if you see somebody doing something foul to me, you can protect me as independent and strong as I am. And my husband definitely does a great job of doing that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially in a workplace.
But in sports, I'll tell you this. When I was playing, the Pittsburgh Steelers got their first woman trainer. Mm-hmm. And in the locker room, guys were like, I don't know about that. You know how we kind of talk in here. This is kind of our sacred private zone, and we don't want to have to
be able to say things like this all the time, so we can be ourselves.
I mean,
be ourselves.
Correct.
But maybe that's the part that needs to be looked at.
But is that being authentic if you are like censoring yourself because
I mean, is Jeffrey Dahmer being himself? He's being himself. Or is but
there
maybe he should look at what his mode was.
Okay, so but if you're a woman who's working in a all-male environment, particularly testosterone-driven sports or whatever it is, mind you, the cool part is that the players were not in on this at all. So the question of it is this, and Mark Cuban seems to be unwittingly over this whole thing because he's like, I'm detached from this. Like, I let my CEO handle it. Like, he's a well-respected person. And then I've asked the HR people, is there anything I need to be worried about? Do we need to handle anything? They're like, no. So is there an element of women that they have to be able to like adjust what their normal standard is?
What do you mean?
When you're in certain situations? Because I noticed, right, from working at Fox Sports and working at radio stations, that it's a different environment than normal workplace environments. Like, it's a lot more casual. You can do a lot more things than you can in a normal office workplace because people are way more sensitive there. So is there an element, or should there be an expectation of women that this is not, that this is not politically correct lane? Like, don't you like that?
Let me see if I understand your question. You're saying you are working in a sports environment as a woman. You're working in a male-dominated environment as a woman. Is there a different lane for us than there are for men who don't work in that lane because we're more casual is the word
correct.
You use?
Yeah.
No.
So you shouldn't have a little bit of an expectation.
Hell no.
So you shouldn't expect a little more, like the work environment is looser.
Okay, George, you're a black guy.
Yeah.
You're working in an industry that is mostly white guys. Shouldn't you really expect us to be a little racist sometimes? We're white guys. You're a black guy. Shouldn't you just let that shit slide, George? Thank you. Thank you. We can sign off right now. We can sign off right now. That is the point. Thank you.
That was stupid. Okay, so but the last point I want to make is, do you believe that it's interesting that you have this whole Me Too thing. I believe that like 95% of the claims are true. I believe that some of them are, people that the other 5% are either made up or people who are overly sensitive about this, right? Mm-hmm. So that's just my own personal opinion, but there it is. But
I think that's your own personal.
But there's a pushback. Mm-hmm. I said 95%.
I know, but you're like, I'm just hoping that it's not all true. And
no, I know it's not all true because people do that. So, so there's no way it's 100% true. There's no way. But I do believe that it's the vast over 95% plus are true. But the question is, there have been pushback from this by men. A lot of those men who have been accused, like you have like boy from Fox News whose show got canceled. Oh, Bill O'Reilly, who's like, oh, these fake claims. Dude, you paid $32 million for fake claims. Yeah, right. And you have the president who supported Roy Moore from Alabama. Mm-hmm. So Trump supported Roy Moore from Alabama. And he came out and tweeted about Rob Porter, the White House staff secretary, in support of both of these dudes. He campaigned for Roy Moore. Do you believe that, because it seems like the men who don't do creepy stuff are like, listen, we got to stop doing creepy stuff. Like, we have to stop sexually harassing people. Do you believe that the president, I guess, kind of tweeting about it and all this stuff is kind of giving men like a I told you, all these damn liberals, they're getting too sensitive, we can't say anything. How about let's make a black woman transgender superhero that
he tweeted that?
No, somebody else did. I saw today. Okay. Black transgender superhero.
Why not?
Social justice, this and that.
Why not?
Like, the whole point was, do you believe that that the president and leadership and people who are tweeting about this are like pushing back because they want to be able to do creepy things, or are they trying to excuse their past behavior instead of admitting it and doing something different?
I don't know. I can't speak for other people. I really don't know what they're doing, but I am glad that now there are consequences and repercussions for this. Now, if I genuinely felt like if I said, hey, he told me I must be screwing my client for him to give me 10 listings. If I genuinely thought he would get fired for that, then I probably would have said something. But when I started in my business, I knew for a fact he wouldn't get fired. So
that's why there wasn't anything said about it.
Correct. See, was it still wrong? It was disgusting. I mean, I've gotten accused of sleeping with 9,000 people that I had nothing to do with just because I was a successful woman in business.
That makes sense. And all these allegations and these Sports Illustrated investigations have really rocked the sports world, because now the Carolina Panthers owner, he's having to sell his team. He was rubbing women's feet, lining them up, looking at their butt on Friday jean days, all of this stuff. And I did not believe that this was going on this level.
And one thing that he kept saying, oh, this one has to be fake. He kept telling me this stuff. And I was like, honey, we don't have to make this stuff up.
Do you understand? It seemed like a fictional movie. It didn't seem like it was real, because my idea of, okay, the guy who whips it out in his office, I didn't believe it. I thought it was the guy who
do you know that has a trench coat at the bus stop. There are guys that would never in a million years run around and touch a bunch of girls' butts.
Yes.
And that would be completely horrified.
And I would never do that. I was 14 years old and I was taught this by people around me. Mm-hmm. I did it for a minute and then I'm like, well, this is why would I do this? This is bad.
Right.
So we have to teach our boys and our men something different.
Agreed.
And and there can't be a place in the workplace where this is
correct.
Okay, even in sports, and that's where I said that I find it very interesting that the athletes are the people who were absolutely absolved in this whole situation with the Carolina Panthers and the Dallas Mavericks. That the players, the people who are villainized the most publicly, are the people who are actually doing the right things. The reporters and everybody, the staff is like, oh, I feel real comfortable around them. It's when I go back to my damn office. Oh my God, dude. It's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. Unafraid Show, right or wrong, where we have real discussions about real things. Today it was MeToo. Today it was sexual harassment. Is it real? Proper workplace behavior. And also, how do you get another job after you have been accused or whatever with sexual harassment? And thank you guys for joining us. We'll catch you guys later. Please make sure you download the podcast. If you missed anything on iTunes, TuneIn, any of that, peace out. We will catch you guys later on.